Hello, welcome back to Open Hand Farm. I'm Penny, and I am so glad you are here. You have come at a fun time. I am doing a challenge that was extended by Three Rivers Homestead, and she has done an amazing job of canning, freezing, fermenting, whatever way of preservation she can think of to preserve food for her large family, and has challenged everyone else through the month of August to preserve something every day. Now, I have to say that before I started this challenge, we had already decided to take a trip to Windsor and go to the produce auction to get some things to preserve. So that just happened to fall into this month. So this is going to be a big week of my challenge. And next week, I don't even know what I'm going to do. We'll just have to see when the time comes. So for now, I wanted to show you a little bit of what I have been doing this week for the Every Bit Counts challenge. On Friday, towards the end of week 1, we went to Windsor, Missouri, and we came home with several wonderful items. We came home with 12 pints of new red potatoes, 180 ears of corn, and 8 pounds of green beans, and then a few extra things to go along with that, including a half bushel of peaches. So Mark and I jumped in Sunday night and started taking corn off of cobs. We have shucked and cleaned many ears of corn, but I had never seen the way that people were doing it by taking the whole kernel off. So that was really cool, and it kept all the juices inside the kernel. We worked hard and pretty fast at getting enough corn off of the cobs so that Monday morning I could start preserving, and then we could continue shucking and cleaning corn and breaking beans and all the other things that needed to be done. As you can tell, my grand dog, Jim Bob, is very interested and really hoping that I'm gonna drop that whole bowl of corn because he would definitely help me clean it up. So after breaking beans and shucking corn with some friends, we were able to can 14 quarts of corn, 9 quarts of green beans, and 8 pints of corn salsa. Now, because I like to be honest with you, I'm going to tell you what happened with my corn. I had read the recipe and it said, put your corn in the jar and pressure can it for 55 minutes. But it didn't say what size a jar. So because my green bean recipe was talking about quarts, I assumed the same for the corn. So I got all of my quart jars full of corn, put the boiling water in, and I processed them for 55 minutes. Early the next morning, I decided I was going to do some pint jars also. When I looked to see how long a pint jar should process, I realized that I had under-processed my quart jars. So I looked it up and it said if you had processed them within 24 hours, you could reprocess them. So I quickly got myself together and I reprocessed my corn for an hour and 25 minutes. That's a difference. So I will say that my corn in my jars looks a little bit darker because the sugars in the corn kind of caramelize and make the corn turn a little bit more brown because I had to process them the extra amount of time. But I'm gonna put butter on it, I'm gonna put some herbs on it, it'll be fine. I'm not worried about it. But I wanted to just let you know things like that happen. And I had never canned corn. I canned some green beans last year, but not corn. So also with the green beans, I had just about a quart left of green beans. So I didn't want to process 1 quart of green beans for the amount of time. So what I did is I went ahead and processed them with the potatoes, and that way I could go ahead and cook it the same length as the potatoes, and I have 2 quart jars of green beans and potatoes to cook together. So that worked out great. Some of the potatoes were small and round, so I just put a bunch of those in a jar and processed those. The other potatoes, I did not peel them. I just cut them into pieces and canned them that way, and they look beautiful. I can't wait to get into them. Day 2, I did all the potatoes and I did peach butter. I don't know if you've ever had peach butter, but it is amazing. I peeled the peaches and cut them up and boiled them and added some honey until they were cooked down, and then I water bath canned it. I also went ahead and did the pints of corn because I just had a little bit left over from the day before. Wednesday was a busy day because I have my grandchildren. So that day I used the rest of my peaches and made peach rosemary jam. And it is really yummy. I was very pleased with the way that turned out. I will probably use it like on pork chops or different meats, but also I kind of think I'm gonna make some rosemary sourdough bread and put it on there too. You can't really go wrong with rosemary. Oh, I also started a corn silk tincture, which is good for urinary tract infections. My friend Stacy was here and she said, don't throw all those away, make a tincture. So that's what we did. So I now have a corn silk tincture going. That will be done in about 5 weeks. I also made some more of the dehydrated tomatoes to have at my ladies' coffee group, and they absolutely love them. So I hope some of you are trying that recipe at home. Thursday, because I was having my ladies' coffee group, it was kind of a tight day, but I made yogurt. I got my raw milk that I had also bought while we were in Windsor. I skimmed the cream off and I made butter. And then with the milk, I made yogurt. I had never made yogurt before. I will say that it was a little soft. So I read to see what I could do to remedy that. And they just suggested putting it in a strainer, like in some cheesecloth, and then in a strainer and let it drain. So that's what I did, and it came out beautiful. Mark brought in the rest of our elderberries and we broke those off and I dehydrated those. So now we have a full jar. I started some of the fermented honey pickles that I've given you a video and recipe for because I needed some of those for a collaboration that's coming up quick, where I'm going to do an item on the barbecue, and I wanted to have those to go along with the item. So you need to stay tuned and see how that is all gonna go. I'm really excited about it. I did practice what I was gonna cook the other day and we loved it. We have a lot of raspberries and I want to eventually make some raspberry jam, but I also want to use them in smoothies and things like that. I put a lot of those in the freezer so that I would have them for the future. Saturday, I worked on tomatoes. I needed to make some tomato paste or sauce, but I didn't have it in me. So I watched a video with Jill Winger, and she was making tomato powder. Now, my favorite kind of tomatoes are fire roasted tomatoes, but I can't seem to make the sauce at home that really tastes fire roasted, because after I peel the skins off, that takes the flavor with it. So what I decided to do is to cut my tomatoes in half, take the seeds out, and then roast them. At that point, I then took them downstairs with their skins on, and I dehydrated them. After they were crunchy and hard, I brought them back upstairs and I turned them into a powder in my blender. So hopefully when I use this to make a paste or a sauce, it will have the fire roasted taste. I'm really excited to try it. Today was Sunday, and of course we went to church. We ended up having a friend come over for the day, and we were kind of just getting things ready for the week to start because Mark goes back to school tomorrow. So today I made pickled peppers. I followed the recipe from Three Rivers Homestead and made a brine, except I didn't use sugar, I used honey, and I did 2 jars of peppers. They were just assorted peppers that I had gotten out of the garden. Some were the chocolate peppers, some were poblanos, and some were jalapenos that had come in the mixed boxes that we got at the auction. So we kind of were anxious to open a jar and get those tasted because I'd never made them before. So we went ahead and I water bath canned them. After they cooled enough, I opened a jar and we tasted them, and we were really pleased. So I know I'm gonna make more of these. They would probably make a great little gift for Christmas or something too. And they're so colorful with all the different colors of peppers in them. So that's what I did today. So let me show you all of the things I did for the Every Bit Counts Challenge, week number 2. Thanks so much for watching and for following along for this challenge. And I hope that you also are preserving food or doing something that will be beneficial to you in your future. Leave me a comment. I love it when I hear from you viewers, because it lets me know who's out there. It gives me a chance to talk with you and connect with you, and I love it. I'm always so excited when I go to the comments page and I see comments. I get really excited. Tell me something that you think would be a good thing for me to preserve in the coming weeks, or tell me something you've been preserving or your favorite thing to preserve. Just let me know. And until next time, blessings on you and yours.